first of all, Wes, getting ready for the regular season, preseason's come to a close. How would you grade the guys' performance over those first four?
I'd give us a solid B, B+. You know, I know it's a lot of newness as far as personnel. We've changed some things tactically, so implementation's been a little slower than I'd like, but we're taking our time to make sure we get things, set foundationally, and I like overall where we are.
Over those first four games, the three-point percentage is up 5%. Field goal percentage is up as well. What can you attribute that success on the offensive side? Matter of fact, best in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, some of it is the tempo. Obviously, playing a little faster has helped. It suits the guys we have. Ability to space the floor with the shooting is creating more avenues for guys to drive and kick. Get to the line, get to the paint. So it's a combination of those things. I think in general, though, we're just prioritizing the shots we want. And really dialing into that has helped us be more efficient.
It's interesting to find where theory meets practice. Everybody says play faster, but sometimes playing faster leads to bad turnovers and bad decisions. But where are your guys picking up playing faster can actually lead to the kind of shots?
Well, it's not necessarily just pace and sheer number of possessions. I think it's also getting the ball across, initiating the action in a timely fashion. That now allows us to turn through a possession to, optimally hunt those shots that we prioritize early, but then give us a chance to make plays late. I think when you walk the ball up, playing against a set defense, but you're also limiting, I think, some of your options, which puts stress on your offense toward the back end of the possession.
It had been a few years since a rookie had as many steals as Bilal did in the preseason. How do you view that? Is that a stat that you put much stock into?
It's a good sign. I mean, you don't want him to be up the line gambling, taking himself out of position, and he hasn't. He's doing it the right way, being in the right spot. I think he understands some tendencies, personnel tendencies, that's allowing him to take the offense out of a rhythm, so to speak. But he's got physical tools you just can't teach. Some length, size. He's a little stronger than he looks, but I think it's a great thing for him to kind of lean in on. 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓 is one of those guys who's done it at a high rate, but he can also follow suit in that manner.
What do you see in terms of his purpose of play offensively?
Yeah, we talked about his level of patience and poise. He's taking the right types of shots. He's showing more confidence in making those plays. I thought early in the year he felt probably sped up a little bit, but things have slowed down for him significantly. You can tell in just his level of comfort. So I would encourage him to continue. Take those right types of shots, be aggressive. The ball finds you, be ready to catch and shoot it.
But at the same time, it seems like the ball never sticks with him, or very rarely sticks with him for a 19-year-old who's only played a little bit of senior level ball.
Well, it's a smart player. Yeah, it's a smart thing. I mean, I think he has a general understanding of his own ability. He's not going to try and do things he can't do or things he doesn't work on. So finding that balance of being aggressive, kind of pushing the envelope a bit, developing some of those things maybe that are deficient, but at the same time play to your strengths.
Turning the page to the regular season, what is going to be the mental approach, whether it be verbal or nonverbal, going into Indiana?
Well, I think just, you want to get the carryover in the details. That's been a point of stress for us all preseason. And they're a good team. They've got some, high caliber offensive weapons. We've got to be clean with our level of communication, the details, being in the right spot at the right time. Give ourselves a chance. Offensively, I think we'll be okay. We continue to play the right way, make the right read, take care of the ball, but play with the tempo that we've played with, and find the right types of shots. Not necessarily worried about the offense, but defensively, I think it's going to be a test for us.
As you consider your starting lineup for opening night, and feel free to share it if you would like, what type of balance?
I'm going to email everybody individually.
What type of balance are you hoping to strike with that 5?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about fit. I think it's important to have 2.5 ball handlers on the floor. You want to have some shot making. The defensive side is important, and we've got to be able to rebound. So positional size. We've been able to throw a bunch of pairings out there to see what sticks, and by the numbers, there's been several that have been positive. So we have choices, but I'm not going to give that away quite yet.
Besides Gaff has to kind of be part of the team rebounding concept?
Every single one, honestly. He has to, of course, take the lion's share just because of the position he's in. But we've talked about it, a lot of times, our fives, Gaff in particular, he's charged with protecting the rim. And on every drive, cut, there's off-ball movement. It takes him out of position, so to speak. That shot goes up, and the smalls on the perimeter have to kind of get in the fray and help him out. So it's got to be a collective mindset. It's a team thing that not solely on one guy, but it's certainly an area that we've got to improve upon.
There is some school of thought that rebounding isn't as important as it.
I would disagree.
Respectfully.
Yeah, I would disagree. And it's not just the defensive rebounding. We've given our guys a license to offensive rebound as well. Those possessions, they add up. So you don't want to do that at the detriment of your transition defense, but you've got to be selective with our crash decisions, smart with it, but be decisive. And the overall rebounding battle, teams that have done that at a high rate have won a pretty significant number of games.
Are there any benefits to starting the season on the road versus at home?
I would say no, but we don't make the schedule, so I think it's a great test for us, pull together and see what we're made of.
Coach, Jordan Poole, towards the end of the preseason, did a lot of bringing the ball up. He did a lot of orchestrating the offense. What did you like seeing from him take on more of maybe a point guard role, and is that something you've considered plugging him into during the regular season?
Yeah, I think, early in the preseason through camp, a lot of our flow offense has been positionless, and that's been intentional. Moving the fives around. They always gravitate to the same spots, but getting guys more comfortable with orchestrating offense. Of course, transition, we get stops. We want to be able to get out and run. It suits this group, and we have the versatility to do it. 1 through 4, 1 through 5 with that second group. But getting those guys more comfortable being in the different spots, orchestrating their teammates, getting guys organized, I think it's going to benefit us long run.
This preseason different than last, so of course you get a full run. How do you grade yourself and your performance of it?
I'm really happy with what I've done, how I've played. It's all about kind of feeling the game out with these guys. Brand new squad, or half of them are new. So the preseason's all about getting used to playing with each other. And even though we've been in here for a month plus now, it still feels like we're learning a lot, and we're rounding into some really good shape. So I'm excited to get this thing started and play some games for real.
It looks. Go ahead,
What did you learn during the preseason as you continue throughout that process?
Yeah, a lot of the guys bring unique things to the table. Like Jordan's played in a championship environment, and he has a very unique way of playing that we all kind of need to get used to. Moves without the ball really well. He's plays at a fast pace, and it's just not something that we've had in this building. So just having those minutes under our belt with Jordan on the floor is really important. And everybody has a unique skill set, and we need to learn from them, and they need to learn from us.
How does that open offense bode well for your style of play?
I love it. The faster we can play, the more possessions we can have, the better it suits my game. Kind of built for that style of play, and everything we've done so far over the last month has been geared towards that. So I think we're gonna have a really high octane, offense with a lot of shock value, I guess.
Including big
On a related
note. More of those, yes.
I was going to say, on a related note, that dunk, what can you tell us about it?
Honestly, I wasn't trying to. I just jumped and realized I was high enough, and then turned the ball over. And I think that's the best dunk I've had since I've been a pro. And JP got a tech, and if he wants to forward me the bill for that one, he can.
Have you found times where the pace at which you guys have played has caused defensive miscommunication, pressure, and you guys have gotten to what you wanted to get to?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you don't even try to make the defense, confused or have them make a mistake. It just happens because you're playing so fast. And, those are the easy points that you can get. You can rack up, 4, 6, 8 of them throughout the course of an NBA game. And like you guys know, a lot of these games come down to the wire like that. So that's what makes the difference in the end, is those buckets you kind of just got away with almost.
Corey, how would you like to see, as the season progresses, this team develop offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a work in progress all year long. We're not expecting it to be perfect right away. I really like the groundwork that we've set, and I think guys on our team are really excited with the groundwork we've set too. And the more we play, the better we're going to get. So, the fast-paced offense, kind of a more structured defense, is going to bode well for everybody on the floor, especially as we learn how to play it better with each other.
Going through the preseason and as almost one of the longest tenured Wizards players, how has your leadership developed through the preseason, and what's the carryover going to be for you in terms of actionability?
I mean, I've earned a voice on this team, and it doesn't, in this league, leadership doesn't come overnight. You don't just get it because you're a certain draft pick, or you play a certain position, or you score X amount of points. Like, you have to earn it. And I've played enough minutes and played enough games in this uniform, compared to everybody else, where I've kind of seen, been put through the paces here. And I've started to kind of realize that when I speak, people listen. And I didn't want to, that's kind of what I want to be a leader naturally, but I knew my first 2 years here I kind of had to take a step back and earn my stripes. And this year's definitely going to be a little bit different, not only leading by what I do, but also by what I say.
In terms of the makeup of the team, just age-wise, does it feel more like comfortable for you to speak up? This is a little bit younger.
Yeah, yes and no. Yeah, there's a lot of young energy, and there's a lot of guys who are like moldable here. Everybody wants to get better, bottom line, and that's where good leadership and good communication comes from. Is not from a place of tearing each other down, but from a place of us understanding that everybody wants to get better. And if we can continue to keep that mindset through 82 games, we're going to be in a really good spot. We're going to get a ton better this year because there's tons of room for growth.
Speaking of communication, if you could share with us some words that were shared after that dunk. I saw your mouth moving. I don't know if I heard the words that were shared.
Mom would be very proud of me for the words I said. But I mean, it was honestly a blur. I mean, those guys were all yelling at me, and I kind of just yelled back. And those moments, haven't happened for me very much in my NBA career, especially dunking it like that. So it felt great. I hope to do it more.
Did you hear from Suggs or Nembhard or any of the guys?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys texted me afterwards. Yeah, they were like, honestly, I didn't still think you had that, and I honestly prefer it that way. I like the shock value.
You like the sneak
I like the
dunk
shock
on
value. Yeah. The less I like keep my cards close to my chest.
How many times have you heard, like, when broadcasters are broadcasting the game and you throw down a dunk like that? Wow, I didn't think he had it in him.
A lot, almost every time, really. And part of it's my fault because I don't show it, but I do have it, and part of my growth as a player is showing that more often and making sure teams across the league know that I have that and I can be a threat that way.
Landlord, ready for the regular season. How do you assess your preseason here?
You said how do I assess it? I mean, of course, it could have been better, at the end of the day, but we did do a lot of things great team-wise. Individually, that's something, of course, that I was focused on, like, behind the scenes, but other than that, everything that I felt that we had team-wise, I felt that we did good, I had a bit of a slump for the last game, but the first 3 games, I feel like that we showed a bunch of, strides on what we can kind of look forward to throughout the season.
We saw a couple opportunities where you were actually getting the ball further away from the basket. Has facing the rim been something that you've been working on in the offseason, and if not, will it be?
Oh, yeah, of course. Just taking the time to just try to build my craft and do as much as I can to really just make myself, ready for anything that comes at us throughout the season, just be ready for the team. That was just like my main goal, to just work on the things that I'm not, I would say good at, just trying to better myself in those areas and then working on the things that I am good at and trying to be better in those areas as well. Really just kind of chipping away at the little things.
As the resident dunk expert on the team, what number would you have held up for Corey the other night?
Oh, a 10 out of 10 for sure. I think, I think somebody was on the bench that all they was just yelling was dunk it, and it just happened at the end of the day. And Corey, he's one of those sneaky guys. He can raise up on you, and when it happened, of course, everybody's reaction was great, but JP's was the best, even though it ended up with a tech.
What's the key aspect as you're headed into Indiana? What's the key aspect for success and carryover from the preseason?
Indiana, they got a lot of pick and pop bigs. The main thing for sure is just like our level of physicality to coming into the game, paying attention to detail and really just locking in to the guys that we know can like really just have a great night against us. Buddy Hield, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡, Miles Turner, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, we just have to really just pay attention and figure out, the ways to keep, the right guys, in the right places for us, for sure.
And offensively, the flow is initiated by several different players. How does that help the overall pace of play, not just fast break, but in the quarter court and initiating the first two actions quickly?
It helps it a lot because, some of the main things that we've been focusing on in our practice is just the guards running the team, coming down, calling the offensive plays, and just really just, finding ways to just facilitate the team and lead the team and be the captain on the floor.
You've been part of a bunch of different kind of resets since you've been here. I just wonder how this reset feels and temperamentally for you. Now you're one of the older players or older vets on the team.
It feels good, just given all the situations that I've been in with different teams and stuff like that. I've always had, just like a certain approach with it, because at the end of the day, like, I was coming from a young guy in those situations, now being like one of the older guys. I've learned a lot, and just using all that experience, I soak it up like a sponge, and I used my experience, for an example, going down the road.
What did you learn in the preseason about the chemistry you guys are trying to develop with new players? Like what types of adjustments where you're like, oh, okay, I should do this differently now that I know how to play with Tyus and Jordan and all those guys?
Pretty much just, finding your spots. It's a lot of guys on this team like JP, Tyus, Kuz, of course, just trying to figure out, the things that they want on the floor and where you can be to help them out to get what they want on the floor. And at the end of the day, just being in the right spot at the right time. That helps build chemistry because now we're having conversations off the floor during timeouts, in between games, on what can help us, be better offensively, defensively, and just finding ways to be there for each other at the end of the day.
What is success for this team?
Success for this team is really just staying poised, pretty much, It can be, JP said it best when we were playing New York because they had made a run at the time, It's a game of runs, You really can't get too flustered. It's going to be a lot of things that happens throughout the game. It's going to be crazy energy changers. It's going to be something pretty much that's thrown at us in every which way of a direction that we probably, might not be prepared for. But at the end of the day, it's a game of runs, and if we stay poised in it and come out and just take care of the things that we need to do, that run will happen. But at the end of the day, we'll be back into just like the flow of the game that we were in before that run happened,
And you're talking about individual games or the season as a whole?
Pretty much the season as a whole, just taking it one game at a time. The next game is obviously the most important game, and when it comes to any outcome of whichever game that we've played, you shake it off, you learn from it, and you go on to the next one.
Yeah, looking past Indiana to Memphis, Steven Adams is out for the year, but they still have Jaren Jackson Jr. How do you plan on navigating that matchup?
Pretty much, game planning the same as with Steven Adams, And Jaren Jackson, he's a great player. Steven Adams is a great player. I hate that he's out. It really was tough seeing that. I was really expecting to go against him. That's one of my guys. But, really just the same mindset. Going out, giving 110%, trying to be like, the main physical aggressor, coming out, setting the tone physically, setting the tone with offense and defense, and just being there for the guys, pretty much.
Now that you're established, starting and you are who you are. You've been through coming off the bench. You've developed. What do you want to improve on this year, offensively and defensively? What are some of the things that you're focused on getting better at?
My level of physicality, in the past I haven't been the best at it, of course, and that's something that I work on a day-to-day basis. I'm really locked into really just trying to improve my game and improve the little things on the floor that help us win games on a day-to-day basis, and that's just really just like my main focus. That and just, being more of a outlook, I can't even talk. Being more of an option on the floor, if there's a time to where it's like, we need a bucket like with the last 5 seconds, and can any one of the guards get it and I'm in a position with the ball, I want to be comfortable taking that shot. Just, being in the mix. Not necessarily trying to force my way in, but just in case matters. But defensively, just being an anchor, being louder, being there for the guys, navigating everything on the back end, just being the quarterback for the guys, being there, and just taking care of everything around the paint. Limiting. I can't even talk today. Jesus. Points in the paint for sure. Offensive rebounds, so on and so forth. Just all those areas I want to be better in. And those are the main focuses, just like with me throughout this season.
You're known for shot blocking, but during the preseason, young Bilal, who also likes to block some shots as well, getting those starter reps. What did it mean for you to see the young guy get his feet wet with that core of starters with you included?
It was good. It was good. It meant a lot because of the simple fact that I really didn't sense any type of hesitation with him. You know, he just came into it and just really just played his game. You know, from the highlights that I've seen when he was playing with, you know, the overseas team, it's just like he just transferred everything over, you know, and it was just like, you know, just another game to him. Pretty much just came out and just did what he was, of course, getting paid to do.
For sure. Does it feel good to have another quote-unquote shot blocker out on the court there?
Oh, it's always good, you know, because at the end of the day, like if I can't get it, I know somebody's on the back end is going to try to get it too. So.
There you go. We'll see about it. We're going to watch some of y'all in-practice dunk contests. Do you guys do that?
In-practice dunk contest?
Who's the best in-practice dunker?
Me, still, of course.
Okay.
You know, I still got the throne on that. I don't think anybody's going to take that from me. Besides AG, I think he's close.
Oh, that's the you watch. Gaff, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.